The Bible says the waters decreased continually. So in the Hovind theory, the ice caps gradually melted back, slowly raising the ocean levels. During the first few hundred years, there was time to spread out around the world. God came down, confused the languages at the Tower of Babel. People said, I'm out of here. They took off, spread around the world, had their kids and grandkids. And over a few hundred years, the water came up and they ended up trapped where they are today. There's a great book about the spreading of populations around the world after the flood. This book called Noah to Abram, The Turbulent Years. It's in our catalog. You can order that. So people came across to America from both sides. Came across the Bering Land Strait, and you can walk from England to Iceland to Greenland to America if the water was lower. As the ice caps melt back, they leave behind the obvious features that we see. Yes, there really was an ice age, best explained by the flood. As the melting ice went into the ocean ended up deeper, wider, and colder. Cold water absorbed CO2, so that would take away some of the greenhouse protection, and lifespans were shorter. The deepest point in the English Channel is only 150 feet deep. Not even from here to the back wall. So we get these ideas, wow, it's blue, therefore it's water. Yeah, it is, but some of it's deep and some of it's not very deep. I think the flood's the best explanation for that. As the ocean filled in, it would gradually get too full and flow over into the Mediterranean Sea. Probably the Straits of Gibraltar were washed out as the water flowed over and backfilled the Mediterranean. Then it got too full and backfilled past Sicily. Maybe that's why they're finding underwater cities. For the first few hundred years, people would be building their cities in some of these areas, and then all of a sudden the water starts coming up. Hey guys, we got to get out of here. They had to abandon their cities. Underwater cities are found quite a few places. As the water filled in the Black Sea, they had to abandon the whole civilization there. Underwater cities were found in the Black Sea, under 150 feet of water. They didn't build them there. And today the earth still shows the effects of this flood to remind us God hates sin. Whenever you're pumping your gas in your car, you can think, boy, this came as a result of Noah's flood. This electricity running these lights here is powered by coal, probably. They're burning up some of the trees that were growing in the Garden of Eden in the pre-flood world. Every time you see articles in the paper about dinosaur bones, it can remind you of the flood in the days of Noah. See, God left enough evidence behind that anybody with a brain can look around and say, boy, God, you hate sin. I better live for you. And Satan has worked very hard to take all of the evidence from the planet that shows God's flood, and he's twisted it around, and he's teaching kids today, all this evidence shows evolution. He's taken what God has created as evidence and twisting it around.